America's Pulse Network welcomes you to the Pulse Podcast. Today we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of upcoming episodes. If you like what the APN's The Pulse Podcast talks about, then please share the Pulse with others. During this episode of The Pulse, the host looks forward to your comments. Tonight's APN's The Pulse Podcast starts now.
Good evening and welcome to The Pulse. I'm Eleana Barbera and I'm filling in for your usual host tonight, so you're stuck with me. As always, there is a lot to cover. We're going to be looking at Iran's trump card in the conflict, controlling the Strait of Hormuz, and the possible effect on the world's oil supply. But first, there's so much crime, corruption, and obstruction going on right here at home from New York to LA. So we're going to dig into a lot of that stuff too. Before we do, though, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. Let's get him in here and we'll get started right away.
Hey, how are you?
Seth, what's up?
Nothing. It's hard to believe, but nothing.
Well, let me tell you what's going on around the country then, because that'll give you something to fret about.
Let's do it.
All right. So, you know, James O'Keefe, the guerrilla journalist, his latest, I don't want to call it a stunt because he certainly isn't doing stunts, but his latest, event, he went undercover as a homeless man on the streets of Los Angeles.
Oh.
It turns out that the homeless in LA are being given cash and goods in exchange for their signatures on voter registration paperwork and election petitions, which is illegal.
I was going to say it's against the law, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very, very much against the law, both federal and state law. So the whole video is about a half hour long. So I just picked out about a minute and a half clip for us to give you a taste of what's going on. Can we pop that up?
No, we can't.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna give you $2. We just need 14 signatures.
The petitioner Brenda Brown hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California ballot initiative, but also as payment for them to register to vote.
Now, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. I'm paying you guys, I need to get paid. Come on.
That is a federal felony. And it didn't just happen once. It happened over and over and over again. We personally witnessed and covertly filmed this happening at least 28 times over the span of our investigation. And that is just in Los Angeles. Many of the homeless have zero understanding of what it is that they're actually signing.
But what is that petition for? You know
the petition for? I do not know.
The petitioners instruct the homeless to enter made-up addresses like Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah, just put you live on Pinocchio Lane.
Oh, you can just take it out.
Oh, good.
And all of this occurring just outside the front doors of shelters and NGOs such as Weingart Center, which have received hundreds of millions of dollars in government money. One Weingart employee tells us when and where to find the illegal cash exchanges for signatures outside, and says the cash being given out is coming.
Well, Seth, what do you think?
I'm not surprised. This country is going into the toilet, and all we get is lip service from politicians. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. We're going to have a hearing about this. They're all making out on it somehow. They're all benefiting from it, or they would stop it. And you can't tell me that no one knew this was going on, that not one of these homeless people told somebody who told somebody who told somebody else. That somebody somewhere knew.
Yeah, O'Keefe even goes on to say, like, the cops just looked the other way.
Yeah, they're all benefiting from it, so they're not going to stop it. Now they're probably going to have to because the cat's out of the bag, so they're going to have to get all, well, that's ridiculous. We need to do something. That's against the law. We're going to put an end to this, and they'll just move it somewhere else. It's there's no accountability in this country anymore. You can do what you want to do, say what you want to say, and it's fine. It's all good because stick it to the man. It's it's ridiculous. It's always becoming like a communist third world country.
It really is. And I just find it so discouraging because every single day there is another major story like this. And there are so many major stories competing for attention that it's all just white noise. I mean, 30 years ago, any single story that we see on a regular basis now would have taken up the national attention and been dealt with. And now it's just a blizzard of fraud and corruption and abuse.
Well, it's because people are justifying by saying, "Well, we're working against Trump by doing this, so it's okay. We're hurting Trump." They justify it in their own heads. It's not wrong. We're fighting fascism. It's not wrong. We're fighting back the Nazis. This is all the Democrats' fault. This is all this is roosters coming home to roost. They've planted the seed in people's heads that this current government's a bunch of fascists and Nazis. So now that everyone thinks, well, we got to do what we got to do to get them out of there. So breaking the law is not a big deal anymore because you're fighting the good fight as far as they're concerned. So it's okay for them. And there'll never be accountability. Never. No matter on either side of the aisle, people will be able to do what they want to do. Nobody's held accountable. And it's ridiculous.
That's what is, my biggest problem, with the Trump administration is not one person has been arrested. Not one person of consequence has been arrested for fraud or the blatant illegal immigration crimes committed by mayors and city councilors and governors around the country. Not one. And, there's that faction, that is just, and I am I would call myself loyal to the president, but that doesn't mean I can't criticize him. But the people who refuse to even look and criticize him at all, they just go, "Oh, be patient, be patient." Okay, that worked on me the first 6 months of 2025. But now we're in the first 6 months of 2026, and you can't tell me it takes that long to put together a case. I could put together a case on the immigration law against every governor in every blue state and every mayor. Yes, there's more than enough evidence to show their crimes. That's just public. Never mind what's behind the scenes. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. It's not happening. Nothing's changing.
And they won't. They never will. This is what the Republicans will use to run on next election cycle. Hey, we're going to start cracking some skulls here. We got some, law. We've got some subpoenas coming out. We're going to start jailing some of these people. You just got to put me back in office so I can start this ball rolling. And suckers will line up to vote for the election cycle. Hey, we're almost there. We got some more names. We're going to start locking people up. You just got to vote for me again and put me in office. We'll get them and put in jail. And the suckers will line up to vote for them, and it'll continue. And the Democrats will do the same thing. We got names. We're going to start locking people up. You just got to vote for me. And the suckers will line up. And then they'll all go out and have a beer and laugh and go, look at the suckers. We get to keep our job and don't got to do nothing.
The Democrats do try to lock up the Republicans. I mean, I
think they try, but deep down inside, they know nothing's going to happen. They know they're not going to get anybody arrested, but it looks good for the camera. Their constituents are happy because they're trying something. Republicans don't even try. At least the Democrats try to do what they're going to say, knowing it's not going to happen. They're not going to get anybody arrested. No one's going to lose their job, but it looks good to their people. Republicans just don't care if it looks good or not. They just, we're going to do it and then never do anything. Never. It's like they're afraid. They're scared to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm trying not to be completely discouraged because we gotta fight. We gotta go down swinging. I mean that's becoming complacent isn't an option. But I do admit to moments of weakness where I'm like, what's the point if every single day a new story of corruption like this is going to come out, where hundreds of millions of dollars are going to an organization that's then going out on the streets and guiding homeless people to free money to take care, to do illegal activity. Like it's just, what is the point? But I still am finding myself telling people we have to still get out and encourage people to vote in the midterms for Republicans, not because we believe in the Republicans, because it's just to hold off the Democrats because they're even worse.
And I'll say it. I'll go past that. I tell people, everybody, if you vote for somebody, educate yourself. Don't just take it because there's an R after their name and think that they're Republican and they're conservative. You need to get off your ass and look at the candidate before you vote for them, because you might be shocked. You look into some of these Republicans, they're not Republicans. Like that one lady we were talking about last time in Georgia, who's a diehard Democrat but running as a Republican because she knows she can win.
Yes. So,
She'll win because nobody will check it. They'll, Republican, okay. People need to start looking at these people, start vetting them, not just assume that, it says they're Republican and they're conservative, we're good. No, you need to look into these people.
So the Attorney General, guy running, his name is escaping me right now, the guy who's running for Attorney General as a Republican in South Carolina, he just switched. He was a lifelong Democrat. He, stumped for Biden. Said President Biden was one of the most inspiring politician he's ever known, like nonsense like that, like highfalutin, butt kissing. Then you have the one in Georgia who was run out of town in Illinois. That's Tiffany Henyard.
Oh, yeah.
She was run out of town. She was the mayor of this little town called Dalton, Illinois, and she was under investigation for squandering and stealing tens of thousands of dollars on an extravagance when her town, the median income there was $24,000 a year. These people are dirt floor poor. And she was staying at the Four Seasons, and you're the mayor of the middle of nowhere, and you're at the Four Seasons spending $13,000. So she got run out of Illinois. She never got charged, of course, because as we just already discussed, nothing ever happens. And now she's running for a Fulton County Commission seat in Georgia, and she'll have an R next to her name. She's running unopposed because Republicans are weak and aren't putting a real Republican up for election. And there you have it. And now you'll have this lunatic who's like Jasmine Crockett's dumber cousin. Like, if you could, she makes Jasmine Crockett look like a real legislator. And she's probably going to win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another one in North Carolina who's running for a state rep position, who flat out said, I'm a Democrat running as a Republican, running in the Republican primary because nobody will pay attention anyway. Flat out said it. And that's just the ones that I know of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of politicians, here comes.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Jack Bragnon's with us.
Hi, Elena. How are you? Seth, how you doing tonight?
Good to see you.
Good. How are you?
If your things are feeling hopeless, you have to come to New Jersey. I mean, we are as blue as you can get. Our assembly, the Democrats have a super majority in our assembly. But I do have some announcements because we are doing things in New Jersey. Coming up on
good news. Let's go.
Yeah, we're not giving up the fight. I mean, yeah, there are moments when it truly is overwhelming. But, there is the upcoming election in November, and the election right after that in New Jersey, we get to flip all the assembly seats again. And this is also the same election that all the state Senate seats come up. So after the midterm election here in November, the following November, we have an opportunity to flip the entire legislature in the state of New Jersey on the assembly side and on the Senate side. It's going to be an uphill battle, but now that's still a year and a half off. So my point is there is light at the end of the New Jersey tunnel anyhow. So we're not, although it's, a year and a half out.
Yeah, they can do a lot of damage in the next year and a half.
No question. However, there are 4 bills floating through the legislature. One we're too late on. In the lame ducks session in January, they passed one bill. It's called, they all have to do with illegal immigration in New Jersey. One was called the Safe Communities Act. That was signed into law. And basically what that does is define courthouses, jails, hospitals, health centers and things like that are all off limits theoretically off limits to ICE.
Is that even enforceable?
Well, as I dug into it, on the surface, it appears as though it's off limits. What actually happens if ICE is engaged in a targeted raid in a courthouse? This law is saying that as the employees cannot assist in any way, cannot offer assistance unless they are specifically asked, but they cannot help ICE. And it's the same thing.
Is that enforceable? Because that sounds like an infringement of my rights. If I'm an employee in that courthouse, I have a right to comply with federal law. Am I wrong?
You cannot be compelled to say something you don't believe in, and you can't be compelled to not say something when your conscience says you should. So
this
yes,
isn't about belief. This is about following the law. This isn't like, oh, like I can't wrap my head around how they're saying that, I feel like I could be compelled to comply with federal law.
I don't believe legally
That's
you
my
can
job.
be compelled unless there's a safety issue. In other words, if ICE is going to obviously walk into an ambush or something where they know there is an illegal alien hiding, you have an obligation to warn him from